Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode on No, but Seriously, Let Me Explain. Hosted by the beautiful, intelligent Earth Angel Lala Davi. This podcast was designed to provide detailed business advice, next level resources, personal credit tips, and relatable relationship knowledge. Be sure to bookmark this page and subscribe because we wouldn't want you to miss any valuable content. And if you're struggling with poor credit, don't even worry about it. Just text Help My Credit to 507-400-3426. That's 507-400-3426. We have live agents standing by to cater to all your service requests. And now that that's out the way, let's make room for what the host has to say. Lala Davi, do your thing, girl.
Welcome to No, but Seriously, Let Me Explain, the phenomenal podcast series that will keep you fully engaged with all of the tips and tricks that you need in order to be successful while giving you lots and lots of flavor. I am your host, Lala Davi, and today we will discuss the industry life. Are you living a successful life in the music industry? No, but seriously, let me explain. In today's podcast, I want to talk about the success you'll have in the music industry and how to create and maintain relevance in such a saturated environment. The problem that many are facing today is how to navigate in the music industry when it seems like other billion people are pretty much doing and trying to do the same thing that you're doing, and you may feel like you don't even stand a chance at it. It's not just that attention spans are shorter nowadays. No, everyone is also now working hard to be something of the jack of all trades. So not only are we busy in everyday life finding out that there are all of these different hidden talents that we all have, because we do. We've watched certain videos in the past. We've watched 2 videos online, and then we've tried to figure out a few things, and now we're experts at it. But we're also trying to turn everyday life into something that piques interest, something that is obtainable as a career. So it may feel like in the industry, out of everything that there is to do, it could be oversaturated. Let me explain. Of course, it's ways to show off your skills. A lot of different easy ways to do that. You can gather a sizable followership made up of potential customers and fans by posting stuff online and building up that content base so that you can grow a following of your own. Music, like in all other forms of art, is highly subjective. And of course, some artists, they have managed to catch the eye of the general public by doing such thing, and they can double in all sorts of genres. But as many musicians, they have had a certain style and a certain way to create music that has been somewhat impressive. And as viewers and listeners, we like a certain tone of music and a certain style of music. And for those people who usually have a specific audience drawn to their style and their particular sound, they pretty much captivate them based on what they have already created. Even for the mainstream, like the world famous artists, each of them has a divine style and a brand. However you would like to put it, they have some type of product that they're pushing alongside of what they're doing in the industry. That's why many of them may have lots of people who know of some major hits, but they still have a consistent and dedicated fan base who will pretty much listen to every song from cover to cover, buy all their merch, and have like this memorized dance routine for all their choreographed songs and for various concerts. For example, Beyonce. Like, I'm a huge Beyonce fan, and you cannot tell me that I don't know all the routines and the choreo for each one of her songs. Don't laugh at me. But I will completely turn on a full concert and I will be right there in my living room dancing move by move to every single dance routine that they've learned, as if I was right there learning it with them. And that's on period. So, yes, there is a specific and unique style that people are really drawn to. And if you're attracting that type of loyalty, then what are you going to be guaranteed at the end of that? Success. What you're going to be guaranteed is greatness. You're going to be guaranteed to have a fan base that will never get bored or never leave, because you're constantly producing and providing the content that we want, the content that we want to dance to, the content that we want to listen to, something that's desirable and something that's entertaining and pleasing to our ears. Even if that artist decided to retire, or if something happened, God forbid, and we were forced to move on as listeners, taking Michael Jackson, for example, it has been years since he's passed away. Lord rest his soul in peace. But his fan base will never stop upholding his legacy. We will never stop listening to his music. Like, I was just listening to a Michael Jackson song yesterday as if it just came out. His music lives on within us. And it really takes being self-aware enough to know what you have, to know that you're your own catch. As any musician or any artist or any person that's looking to start in this industry, you have to first fall in love with yourself. And falling in love with a person's music is like getting to know that person on a more personal level, because we're listening to what you have to say in your lyrics, and your listeners are hearing the music and the style that you're putting out. We can determine if you're in pain or not just by the type of music that you're putting out and the type of sound that you're actually giving to the listeners. For us to determine who you are, we want to know who you are because we want to know what you enjoy, what makes you laugh, and what inspires you to even begin in this industry, especially if your music is good, if you've already developed and maintained a nice fan base for yourself. We definitely want to know how you deal with your struggles, and you, with knowing all these things about yourself well enough, will be able to share them in ways that we can relate, such as through your music. And we, as listeners, will be drawn to that. Don't get caught up with trying so hard to be so mainstream or act mainstream to the point where you lose your focus. I know that it's wise to find your niche first and then build it into something. That's great, but you cannot ignore the fact that, your audience will find you. The right audience will find you, that is. Think about it. Have you ever thought about people you'd considered one-hit wonders? One year, they're known worldwide for a hit song that's everywhere. And then after that, it's just crickets. To the general public, they have fallen off. Yes, maybe they have. But in some cases, maybe the initial success has allowed them to be swallowed up in the system, or to be swallowed up and manipulated to the point where they had no idea of what to do after. But do you know that may not be quite the case with everyone? Some musicians are self-aware enough to know their unique style and their unique sound, and they are so comfortable in it that they will attract an audience made up of people who love the style and the sound, and they will probably never get bored or abandoned by these people. So maybe as a direct result of a little experimenting here and there, they've made one very mainstream sound. In this music industry, there's a lot of different talents underneath this large umbrella. There are vocals, there's songwriting, and then there's production, there's performance, there's playing instruments, you name it. However, some people are naturally multi-talented, and there are some others that have potential in multiple fields, but still have their strongest points in others. You will see some people in this industry with a very specific talent. And today we have a very pro-versatile world. So most people want to see or be seen as this individual that's just versatile in all areas. Oh, I can play the flute, I can whistle, I can, sing out my butt too. Watch this. They definitely want to do it all. But don't get me wrong. It's not a bad idea to want to explore the extents to which your talents are, and being able to extend those different talents is going to be a task within itself. It's okay to try different things, even if for experience alone. Definitely do it out of experience. Like everything that I want to do, I do plan to do it and go after it. However, when you're creating a masterpiece, you definitely want to team up with people who are good at getting things done. They're great at creating great music, creating great beats, or either engineering that music. Whatever their profession is, you want to team up with an individual or create partnerships with such individuals as well as DJs. So once you do create and produce and promote this music, you'll have someone that's going to help push it out as well. To some degree, I know that some people have had valid reasons for being afraid of mixing with other people or providing information to the wrong people, and they're taking that knowledge or that song and using it for themselves, creating their own uniqueness behind your brand. So I do understand that, and there may be ways around that as well, such as different ways to maintain your own unique personal style before mixing with other ideas by branding and trademarking your brand before even taking on or sending your music off to others to actually begin partnering with them. It's wise to create and have those contracts in place just to keep yourself protected. And I definitely will go over that as well. You want to make sure that you have a clear picture of what you're trying to work on and the vision that you have for your overall project, instead of having like a vague idea. That way you won't get lost along the way or being completely clueless as to what direction this project is going to take off to. Think of this. If you have an idea for a dress that you want to make and you go somewhere that someone can sew it for you, it's like a seamstress. You go there for them to sew it up for you. They're more likely going to execute your idea perfectly if you have an actual picture drawn out for them, rather than you have like a lot of objectives and descriptions and ideas in your head versus you having them written down and fully executed. You want to basically do the same thing in this industry. You want to let them know what it is you're looking for, being as physically available to them as possible, going through the tweaks and the little cheats here and there and different changes, the different tunes and sounds, the different ideas that you have from start to finish, then form a ending project goal that you all understand completely. And don't be afraid to use social media as an outlet when you're getting started, because social media has become very popular nowadays. And it has been a blessing and a curse. for musicians, it's easier now to get discovered nowadays to build that fan base by bypassing all of the industry politics. But there's also this high demand for perfection from the get-to-go. So just because someone is watching your every move from the moment you start, it doesn't give you a reason to choke up. There's so much growth necessary for an entertainer that's ideally should happen in silence, and the results can be shown later off in your career. But now social media, it definitely gives you the constant and direct access to every single person's opinion, every style, every choice, and every behavior as a venture as you create that path in the industry for yourself. It was a little different in the past. For most artists, they only heard of criticism through the industry critics or other media outlets. The number one thing is there weren't so many out there that were available. And number two, it just wasn't easy for them. But to possibly dismiss them and to say that people were trying to have something to say just because they got paid to do so is just a part of the industry talk. But nowadays, as an up and coming musician, you will get criticized from so many different random individuals online. First, the noise can be somewhat defeating. It may seem a little bit challenging at first because a lot of these people are just random people. It's easier to be genuinely scared of what the audience have to say, your audience, i.e., and if so many of them are saying this and so on, then it must be true. And then what? You feel doomed already? The average person is going to have something to say just based off of what they can say and what they can see. And yes, there are some people that may be truly toxic out there and just bitter, but that's okay. That's something that as a musician, as someone that's looking to be in the music industry, that's something that you would learn to accept. I don't know everything just yet, but there are some things that can't be unlearned. The best thing and the best type of mindset to actually have going into the music industry is the energy of building. Going in knowing that you're about to build a brand, build up a product, build up a song. You have to give yourself that confidence in order to keep going, because eventually, even if you truly do something forward, I may say this just as an accent to say that with potential, you might feel as though you may be looking silly by doing something. You're jumping around being excited over your song when everyone else is not. But others, they will be drawn to that. Other people may criticize that, but that is completely okay. You have to have realistic expectations, realistic standards. Perfection isn't right here when you first start. You might fall apart before you have a chance to even stand out. But that's just something that happens. It's something that may tend to happen. You may go to a show that don't even like you. Look at Destiny's Child. When they first started out, they went to Apollo. They were booed off. They were at Star Search. They lost. But look at them. They went on to sell millions of records worldwide. Just make sure that the one thing you do know how to do is do your music and perform with all the energy that you have, because everything else will take shape in its due time. Today, we have a special guest in the building by the name of Formel. He is a multi-platinum, multi-Grammy nominated producer and music exec. He has served as an engineer, writer, producer, branding agent, A&R, and industry executive for years. Following his critical success with the worldwide smash hit single Low, which was featuring T-Pain, he became the president of the international music group, IMG, by Flo Rida himself. However, today, we would like to get your opinion and insight on the industry life. In all seriousness, what can you tell us about the work that you have done recently?
From the urban to the pop, even outside of the music, of several different businesses we've entered into, from the restaurants, the youth football leagues, the merchandise opportunities, the different brand opportunities, and of course, the Baby Soldier Project, hip hop artists that we've been working on for months, and the income a successful record major deal was definitely a plus to the team. And now the LV project is definitely a major plus to the team because she's gonna do things that we can't even imagine right now, my brother. Like everything is so set up for her. And in the last 5 months, again, I think she's only been with us for 4 months. We're going on 5 months now. And in that short time, we've been able to get her on several major platforms, like far as performances, the Miami Heat, the Miami Dolphins, the Orange Bowl, the national championship, like just different things. We released a Drunk Take video that's doing crazy. Has different record execs from all over contacting me as well. Like this morning, as we speak, before we started the podcast, I had just got off the phone with the A&R from A&E that wants to sign her.
So everyone is all curious to know how all of this started for you. Can you give us a little bit of background information, overview of where it all began?
I come from a music-oriented family. My father was actually a producer, engineer. He's still around. He worked with greats like Stevie Wonder, Patti LaBelle, Betty Wright, so many different legends. And he went over to the gospel angle, worked with Mississippi Mass Choir, the BB and CC Winers. Like, I come from that type of background. I actually started off in my younger days rapping and producing myself. Started off rapping, ended up becoming an engineer because me and all my friends wanted to be rappers. Nobody knew how to engineer, produce. So I'm like, you know what, let me learn how to become an engineer. Then I became an engineer. And once I became an engineer and learned how to record, we needed beats to rap on. So I started making beats. And then before you know it, I think I started making beats when I was 11 going on 12. By the time I hit 16, I had collaborated with an artist by the name of Cuckoo Cow, produced my first gold record at the age of 16, going on 17. It did numbers around the world, opened the door to different opportunities for myself. Actually raised a cheek in my dad's eye because in the beginning he didn't really want me into the music because I was really good at sports. But then he blinked and all of his clients were coming to see me. So it looked like a good retirement plan for him. Like, oh man, my son's doing it all the work. I could just sit back and collect the money. And then it got greater than that. It got greater. I started producing several different acts even before Flow. Local acts that didn't take off, a few placements that did take off, you know what I'm saying? And then in between all of that, a long-time childhood friend of mine is Freezy. Freezy, he used to always come to my studio and connect with me like, "Oh, we need to get another artist. We need to get us a superstar." So in that process, we may have ran through about 400. That might be an understatement. We maybe ran through about 700 artists in 3 years every day because we had the facility, we owned the studios, so it was no time schedule with us. It was just us grabbing the artists and getting them in there to see if they got what it takes. After us running through maybe 700 artists, Freeze found Flow. You know what I'm saying? He already was looking at Flow project, but Flow was out of grasp because Flow had previously was doing an agreement with Devontae from Jodeci. So he was on the West Coast working with those guys before we picked him up. So when Freeze let me hear his demo, I was just like, wow, this is amazing music. Like, it was so different from what we would normally hear. It was so different I didn't even know how to understand it. I was like, but I could feel it. I was like, but it was so different. It wasn't even the pop. It was just a different sound and a different message and a meaning. He had so much substance, but he was speaking in a different way that the audience wasn't used to hearing it. So I just knew it was something different about him. Then we signed him. Then Freeze managed them, developed them, produced them. I produced maybe like 3 mixtapes, about 6 albums worth of material in like 9 months. And 10 months later, Atlantic came in. We had several deals on the table, but Atlantic came in with a deal we couldn't refuse. We put out the song Low with him and T-Pain, and it did phenomenal numbers. Like, and that was like the start of my executive career, because it was like I was coming out of the production engineer going into the management executive career because we had so much success from theories and ideas that we came up with. And as soon as the world got a whiff of it, it worked. And it took off. It took off bigger than we could ever imagine. It just went phenomenal. It did numbers worldwide. So that opened up a lot of different opportunities. And then that actually helped me. Flow success actually brought Akon into our realm. That's how I ended up getting the Grammy nomination for the Gaga record. So after Low took off and we put the next single out in the air with Will I Am, Akon contacted E-Class. He was like, man, I like what y'all doing with Flo Rida. I want to get Gaga. I got a new project, Lady Gaga, man. I want to get her in with y'all. So he hit me like, oh, man, Akon coming. He got a new project, Gaga. She wasn't even signed to no one at the time. He brought her through, got in the studio with her. From the jump, when she first came in the studio, I knew she was talented because I had a grand piano in the middle of the studio. She jumped right on and then started playing like the most memorable classic records ever. Like, and like I haven't actually been around the artists that had that much musical talent as far as pianists. You know, it's always the band members or the blind guy, you know what I'm saying? But it was something different for me. So we got in, we cut the Starstruck record. I co-produced it. Flo jumped on the record. The song took off, launched her career, and we all know what Gaga is right now. And that was another check off for my executive career because I actually helped arrange the record. So it was like a lot of music execs and producers that were already in the game started taking heed of my advice, like, 4 Mil, what you think about this? What do you think about this? Like, I found myself in A&R meetings at Atlantic Records where we're flying to LA on Flo behalf, and the A&R pulling me in meetings to hear T.I. records, Gucci Mane records, Bruno Mars records, like, and the only thing I can say is, man, it's a blessing. And right now, you know, like, we have a lot of success and a lot more success coming.
What type of contract should the up-and-coming artists be aware of and definitely watch out for?
Great question. Basically, it's the standard industry agreement, the 50-50 split, the ownership of the masters, the control of the livelihood of the career. You know, just being careful and understanding what the standard industry agreement is. Because things change right now. Things have changed drastically. Now the independent artist is in control of mostly everything if they understand the business. They should also keep into consideration to have an attorney or any type of legal representation or someone that's very knowledgeable to agreements, because there's very strict and tricky ways that things can be worded in a way that that artist doesn't understand. And verbiage changes all the time. And for me, I love the simplified agreements where everybody understands, but unfortunately, artists needs to pay attention to all legal aspects, management, agreements, everyone. Like, I know it's a tedious thing, but it has to be done.
If I was looking to start my career in this music industry as an up-and-coming artist, and I was looking for valuable tools and resources and key indicators that could lead me forward on this journey, what type of valuable information would you give to me?
My advice for any artist looking to start a new career in the music business, just simple, just do the work. Do the work. Outwork everybody. And if you don't know what that is, you have to pay attention to the movement of what's going on with the artists that you might look up to. Like, the only way to stand out in this day and age is to outwork everybody. And unfortunately, it has become a quantity over quality thing. But if you're able to balance it out with quality and quantity, you will be able to stand out. There's a lot of different key indicators that can be used to track, monitor, manage your actual sales or different things. The best tools, I would say, would be inside your actual distribution portal. Like if you're using a DistroKid or Empire or Ingrooves or someone like that, they have statistics in the back end of that you just will have to pay attention to. Like, a lot of these platforms, all of these platforms provides tools that can be used. It's just a lot of artists or their teams don't take the time to understand them because the tools are given to us. Everyone just doesn't understand or have the patience to understand them. We also have to take into consideration that it's an algorithm game. And for any up-and-coming creator, that's artist, podcaster, producer, anything, the majority wins. And what I mean by that is the more you put out, the better your opportunity is, the better your results will be. And don't pay attention to the views. Don't pay attention to the comments at first. Just do the work. Just do the work. The more, the merrier. I would say everyone has their own unique style. That's what makes everyone different, even if they share similarities with vocal range, frequency. But a lot of careers take off differently, but it's always the same formula. What I mean is the work, do the work, focus, build your catalog up, work on your images. Don't just be in a rush to put out a song, your favorite song, because you like it and you think it's going to take off. Be strategic. Put a project together. Put a timeline together. If you don't understand what timeline is, Google that. That's how the majority of these major labels are operating artists' careers. When they're launching, they're going off a 6 month, 3 month, I don't care if it's 30 days. Just lay it out to the point where you understand it and you can repeat the same thing. And once you get your own blueprint, the sky's the limit.
If someone wanted to cross-brand as a musician, what are some ways that they could take or some things they can do to cross-brand themselves?
Cross-branding is so essential in the music business, and not just the music business, in any business. If you can collaborate with producers, DJs, other artists, writers, anyone that's doing the same thing you're doing that might be as active as you or more active as you should collaborate. Mix the energies, get it going. You never know what can come from it. Most artists these days are sheltered in a lot of these different cities because they don't want nobody to sound like them. They feel like someone is stealing from them when they both can learn from each other. And they both might get on this one song and it might launch both their careers.
So if you have two up-and-coming, really well put together young artists, but one pops out a little quicker than the other, who's going to take ownership of that record that they produced and managed together?
Everyone's on this ownership thing with, owning 100% of their masters, owning this, owning that. But in reality, most of these artists that brand themselves as solely independent once were under a situation where they had a partner, whether it was Atlantic Records, Sony, and that budget and that system that they were a part of once gave them the opportunity to become a major independent artist. So what I'm saying is they don't preach or promote partnership as they should. I know everyone's trying to bring their artists to this label and direct talent to this platform so they can reap the benefits of a major label. But in reality, half of these artists need partnerships like Atlantic Records. They need just better negotiations on their masters. If you can figure out a deal where you can be a partner with a major label and then maybe down the line recoup your masters from works already done, then that's a genius deal.
Thanks so much for all of your valuable insight, Vermeil. I think there's another thing that we've learned from just listening to you and listening to the constant success that you've had in your career. It's wise for people to use all of their outlet sources to the best of their abilities. It's not always about what you know. It's about who you know. And seeing in your case that you have had much success through a lot of channels that you have developed through your career, it's safe to say that creating business contacts throughout your career is a very wise move. And another thing that I want to also add is that using social media to the best of your ability is going to provide a very long-standing outlet for you to use as a platform, seeing that that platform is already built for you and it has, a host of individuals already using it. You could use it, to widespread your music, to constantly get new contracts, to pursue new career ideals and different highlights that you would like to do to continuously shine. Trying to get a good lawyer is going to be very positive for you in this industry and as a music executive and professional. You want to make sure that you have someone that could read through those contracts and make sure that everything is legit and you won't come out on the end, underneath the table. You also want to make sure that you give a good impression by asking, the label questions if you need to. If there is any question that goes unanswered, it's never dumb. It's only dumb if you don't ask that question. So definitely ask questions if you're not familiar with the contract. We have come to a very short commercial break paid for by our lovely sponsors. So don't go anywhere after this message.
Yeah, what up, ATL? Look, you ballin', you bad and bougie with bad credit. That's most of y'all. Well, look, man, that's why y'all need to call my people at Exchange Credit Repair. That's right, Exchange Credit Repair will help you squash them inquiries, get rid of them collections, and bankruptcy. They'll even take child support off. I didn't even know they put child support on credit. Woo-wee! And boost your credit score. Let's get that credit score where you want so you can go get what you want. And if you mention Street 945, you get a 35% discount. Hein? So call my people right now at 678-420-5553, 678-420-5553, or visit my people at exchangecreditrepair.info. Exchange Credit Repair is a credit counseling business with experienced credit repair experts standing by to assist you right now. When I made this deal with them, I said, look here, you ain't got to pay me for the commercial. Just put my credit score where I want so I can go get what I want. When I went to them, they treated me like family. My privacy was all the way respected. They quick to fight for a client's right with the Bureau of Credit, creditors, and debt collectors. Conveniently located at 1 West Court Square in Decatur. Tell them Shout sent you.
As we have come to the closing of the show, I really hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I know that I have. Don't hesitate to leave any comments, any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also leave any additional advice at goaxlala.com. The floor is always open to hear all of your incredible answers and any concerns that you may have as listeners. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you don't miss out on any of our new and exciting content coming your way. I would love to send you much love, give big thanks for tuning into No, But Seriously, Let Me Explain. This has been your phenomenal podcast host, Lala Davy, with all the sauce. I will see you next week as we will have more show for you. Until then, stay bold, beautiful, and brilliant. Love ya.